carpool line. Rain, sleet, or snow, we'd get an umbrella. So I didn't know anything about carpool. We had to learn carpool. We had to make some adaptations. And it's been a little bit of annoyance to have to get up a little bit earlier and have to leave a little earlier and go wait in the line in a new school. But everything ends. Everything comes to a conclusion. We know that there's an end in sight. So I see friends in this room. I see people I know here. It's not a unanimous position that what the board is proposing and what Dr. Tree is proposing to move forward with should not take place. I think that there are a lot of words that have been said tonight. I think I wrote some down: cronyism, shame, doing the right thing, implying that you're not doing the right thing. There's been talk of backroom deals, and I think that I just want to applaud the board, because I understand and I recognize that just because things are happening behind the scenes does not mean that they are behind closed doors. And so I thank you for hearing people tonight. I appreciate you for listening. And you've got supportive people out there. We may not be as vocal, and I may be the only. There may only be a couple of us here. But I do applaud the plans for the school. I believe that there are a lot of important decisions being made behind the scenes, not behind closed doors, and that experts and professionals are being taken into account. And hey, I grew up in this neighborhood. I understand change is hard. Nobody likes change. People, I go to Holland Park Presbyterian Church. I went to church, and we've got 50 signs along the street saying, don't do anything to the church, right? It just happens. Sometimes that can be a little bit of love language, and here we are on Valentine's Day. But I applaud you. I want you to know that you've got support. I think that you're going to do the best you can with the information you have, and I would just encourage you to press forward, and I support what Mr. Weston said. Let's get this done on time, on budget. The only thing I will say is probably unanimous in here, is that I would say, thank you, I would say that I think that the 2-year displacement is probably inappropriate. I think that 1 year was something that I think was recognized by the community as part of the plan. And I would say that that's probably what should still be the case. I think that's probably the one area that I would say I have concerns about, being in a current family situation where we are now having to do that change and having to make that extra drive. Now, let's face it, even if it's, it's an extra mile, right? We're not talking about we live 10 miles apart from school, so it's not a huge commute. But I would say that that's the one area I ask you to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Tracy Shue.
Hi, Tracy Shue, 2732 Daniel Avenue. All 3 of my kids were empty nesters now, but all went to Armstrong. So I don't necessarily have a dog in the fight, but was kind of forced up here tonight. So, and I'm sure you've all learned about a kind of grassroots group that has started called Concerned Park City Citizens. They hosted a meeting last week for majority higher parents, but there were quite a few other people there, and I just wanted to give you a little feedback on that because some people thought it was important. That we did put out a little survey asking a few things, and about 54% of our attendees participate in the survey, and I can email this to you guys, or John, if you want to take a look. He's always so nice to take my calls. But we asked it, what's the percentage that would prefer that Hire procures a collaborating architect like Armstrong? 74% check that box that they would. Hire continues to work with Stantec exclusively. 0% check that box. Hire's upgraded a mix of, right, so there is, and that was 67%, that people, got the idea that, we're going somewhere, we want to move forward. And so that kind of gives you an idea. Hire will be 3 stories, 0% again on that one. Just of some of the sentiments that are out there. And then we also took a lot of comments from people who I'm sure some are here tonight and some probably weren't able to attend tonight. So I just wanted to give you a few of those. New is not always better. The new 5th school is already falling apart. As a UP builder, it seems obvious the school will need a complete facelift in 5 years. Stay the same. Building enhances property values and is state-of-the-art in learning facilitation for all children. There are many design flaws in school number 5 that indicate little thinking was put into the design. For example, the lockers are undersized and aren't even big enough to hold a standardized backpack, much less a winter coat too. Not that we need that very often in Texas. And many doors are already broken off. Common sense. Why are they still moving forward when enrollment is down? And the list goes on and on. I won't bore you with all those. But I just wanted to also, I totally agree with Ed and the sentiments that have been here. We are a wonderful community of families, friends. Our kids have grown up together. We've served on committees together throughout the years.
Shoot 3 seconds.
Oh, thank you. And I just don't want to see this become a bigger divide, or like Ed said, jeopardize the sense of community that we all love and enjoy here. Thank you.
How many people new enrollment was declining, and less than half the group raised their hand?
Oh,
People
yes,
didn't even
yes,
know
the
enrollment
people
was
did
declining.
not realize that we're there, that was a new factoid for a lot of the attendees. So that's something that people are kind of starting to wake up to. And again, our motto started out and has grown, if you'll notice, to pause, rethink, and adjust. Just like you would with any major decision that's going on in your life, in your home, in your community. Thank you.
Emily Shackle. Well, I can tell you, you're the last one, so.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm the last one because I wasn't going to put my name down, but nobody showed up from Bradfield. They must have dinner date plans or Varsity YMCA games, who knows, but I did want to speak to you all, and I didn't anticipate speaking. When we moved here in 2004 from Washington, D.C., we were so excited to be a part of this community. We were aware that there was a possibility that Mockingbird Lane would be widened, and had our faith in the town of Highland Park that it would be well-engineered road, and that it was needed because of family infrastructure under the street, and it was needed. Once we looked at the plans, we realized that the original design had called for widening within the town's right-of-way, up to 3 feet in some areas, and that we would lose 60% of the trees. Even to this day, I sometimes hear people in the community say, why did those people make such a stink about saving Mockingbird, and why did they complain so much? Well, the truth is, the reason Mockingbird Lane turned out so great is because people in the community did stand up like y'all are standing up today. We stood up and we said we didn't want to see 60% of our trees removed. We said we wanted to see design elements like brick crosswalks. We said that we wanted a left turn lane at high school that's so needed to get to the middle school. All of these things were done because people stood up, and we are so lucky that the town of Highland Park took another look, changed the plans, and now we have a road that we're really proud of. I've heard personally from so many parents and community members in the Bradfield area that they don't want to see Bradfield be a 3-story campus. I feel obligated to speak on behalf of my Bradfield friends, even though I don't know where they are, and hats off to you all for being so vocal and organized. Very impressive. I totally see the point of where were people 4 years ago, which is what I keep hearing. There actually were a lot of people who didn't want the bond passed. The no contingency was very disorganized at the time. There were 3 different groups trying to organize, and they all had 3 different reasons for why they didn't want it. Some of them didn't want the money. Some of them just conservative, fiscally didn't see the point of doing the money. I was not a member of that group. I opposed the bond I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. My biggest complaint of the bond package all along was that it was a package deal. I was in favor of getting the bond dollars. Who wants to see our kids getting instruction under stairways and having teacher conferences in closets? But I was never in favor of tearing down Bradfield. I hope that possibly it could be preserved in a manner that so many historic buildings across the country have been preserved and renovated. Locally, I admired the recent Highland Park Town Hall renovation. As I already mentioned, I lived in D.C. many years and watched many historic buildings be renovated and updated with infrastructure and technology, not choppy additions, but carefully crafted renovations under the direction of architects who specialize in historic remodeling. So, like our prior friends have said, I would ask you to pause, rethink, and adjust. Thank you.
Thank you to all of you that have taken the time and the desire to come and talk to us. And as always, we always welcome all public comments and take those into consideration. I'm moving now on to board announcements and committee. I understand that the group may be sticking around for another facilities report. But if you want to get up and leave now, you're welcome to it. For those that you want to stay, we're going to move on into the word announcements and Edward Mary.
We're not allowed
Well-
to comment during the facilities report, are we?
Correct. It's just a report on the board.
Okay.
I've got facilities updates on the after.
All right, let's hold on until everybody. All right, we're going to, some board members have requested a short break, bathroom break, so we'll